getting set up for my final run on these chess pieces. So I really like how this knight and this rook came out with a little bit of green at the bottom, little bit of dripping through. I thought that was a pretty cool feature. And then going to clear on the top. But for this particular run, what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to try to duplicate this technique where I basically used 2 pouring cups to pour a gold-white mixture and a green into the mold at the same time. But instead of that gold-white mixture, I'm going to use a clear. And so what I'm hoping to get is a little more distinction between the green and the clear, and see if I can get that to mix in a fairly random fashion. So hopefully that all works out. Instead of using 2 pouring cups, I'm going to try syringes on this. And I think I am going to take and put some of this green dye in with this green powder and see if I can darken that up just a little bit. So a little bit of mold release spray for all of these. We're going to make up 3 ounces of each of these mixtures. I'm going to first do 1.5. You might be able to see, even mixing slowly, I've got some bubbles in there. My experience has led me to believe that a lot of that will come out as I do the pour, but I'm still going to run these through my little vacuum chamber just to help pull up some of that. So this is a handy little gadget that I got off the Let's Resin site. I'm going to let this run for 10 minutes and then I'll be ready to pour. In using this machine, I have not been able to get the resins to be completely clear. If you go on the advertisement site for this device, it'll show these coming up and being completely clear. I don't know how they got that to happen, but what this does do is gets quite a bit of the air out, and that usually works very well for me. So not the best clarity that I've seen out of this device. I don't know if I've got some environmental factors that are inhibiting the bubbles coming up. I'm going to drop these in some hot water and let them sit for a little bit, see if that gets me some better clarity. So not too bad on the clear. Not perfect, but probably good enough. The green I'm not too terribly happy with. But I want to be careful and not get too deep into the pot time that I have available. I did use my heat gun to help get some of these bubbles out, and that worked pretty good. What I have done in the past with that heat gun is I've actually started to cure the epoxy before it naturally would do that, cure on its own. And that kind of bothers me. So I've got to be real careful with how much heat I actually put on this. But with the test runs that I've done, I think this is going to work out just fine. I think I did want a little darker green. I did put some extra dye in as I was mixing this, and it didn't seem to have too big of an effect on the darkness. I probably could have put some black dye in there, or just kept on with the green dye. We'll get that as I get more experience. So, and we'll start filling in the molds here. What I find is these molds are just a little bit particular down at the bottom. Real easy for epoxy to hide, or air to hide rather. And so I've got to get it down in there, squeeze it in there, get the air out. Got one little bubble in there. All right, good, good. Now, put some of the green. Now let's see if I can kind of mix these. Keep it from having a terribly uniform appearance. Yeah. Seeing how that one came out, I think I definitely want more green.
Not too bad. Not exactly the look I'm going for. I'm running out of time to get these done by Christmas. So, this is going to be good enough. So the effect I'm really trying to get in here is a nice little swirl with the colors, which means I don't want to mix it and have a good uniform color throughout. I want to get that random colored appearance. But the problem that you face in working with these molds is I've got to squeeze the air pockets out, and as I start to fill the epoxy in there, the more I agitate it, which that's what happens when you squeeze those air pockets out along this little area, along these little areas where air can get into. And the more you agitate it, then the more you're going to mix it and lose that effect of trying to get this non-uniform, random-ish look. So, this is kind of probably a lot of technique, which I don't have, and then a good amount of luck. Final pour's done. Got a few little bubbles in there, but what I've learned is those should come up and pop on their own. I might just hit it real gently with the heat gun to maybe encourage those to come up a little bit. I could also hit it with some alcohol. I haven't tried that before, but I've been told that that really does a good job of spritzing those bubbles up. I am going to play with this mixture just a little bit, see if I can darken it up, just in case I have to do another run on this and want to go with that darker green.